El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks Podcast.
Hello once again. For those who are listening with me right now, especially those who are in Apple Podcast and other podcast. Awan kami video na ngay Congressman EJ ko. EJ Daduma nga podcast platform. With me right now is none other than the incoming Congressman of Baguio City. It's the legend himself, Attorney Mauricio Domogan. So thank you so much. Nabigyan niyo ulit ako ng time. Kung nagkaroon na Congressman, baka dahil till last siguro, and then after 3 years, so round 3 of our conversation. Kumusta naman po?
Well, good afternoon, Clyde. And kada kayo amin nga patpatgen nga dumdumid ito El Maestro podcast. Good afternoon.
Yan. What was the feeling of did you even expect that the win? Did you even expect na ganun kadami yung ano?
Sa totoo lang, meron tayong feeling na meron tayong chance. Hindi pa ako sigurado na mananalo tayo nung hype ng campaign. Medyo nararamdaman ko na maganda ang ating chance. Kasi alam mo, anak, ito ang isang pinakamahirap na kumpanya na nadaanan natin kasi talagang kulang na kulang tayo sa pundo, resources. Yung skeletal budget lang to meet the minimal operation ng ating headquarters. Nahihirapan tayo to produce it. Parang marat na natin yung last day of campaign.
Even yung first sabak nyo ng politika, you would say that this one is the
wow. Ito ang pinaka mahirap na talagang nganit talagang nagpapasalamat tayo sa of course sa ating Panginoon, blessing ng ating Panginoon at tulong ng ating mga kababayan at uray no kasjay ti sitwasyon at pinagtitinulungan dakpay nga at padakusen bagada nga lakay agkabaw data kaskada agday-dialysis kaskada naibagbagada natumba data intaray day hospital nga hanot amin nga pudno natay dete katukayok nga tatang de kadwak kandidato tayo ti mayor nga ni Bini Bumugaw. Kapuno katukayok ti first name ti rimwar ijay Facebook ket kunada manen nga siyak pinatay gaso nga digidya nga imparparwardan yung gapu iti tulong nyo patpatgan nga umili ken panangiturong tinailangitan mama kasjay ti resulta ti eleksyon iso nga maragsakan tayo unay, maragsakan ako unay kat paalaga nga agpaspasalamat tayo kadagidapiman volunteers tayo campaigners tayo nga rain or shine talagang adaman aso nga delikado mapandapiman sirken nga ag house to house nagsakripisyo daket sapay kuma the Lord will continue to guide us nasalon at kuma tayo amin kat on my part maaramid ko kuma iti nasayaat nga mamayan nga agserbi kada iti syudad kan kadagiti patpatgan tayo nga umili ti syudad ti Baguio. So nga data ti talagang karit kanang runaan kanyak tata no kasano nga ipatungpal tayo lahat yung ating sinasabi sa political campaign. Meron tayong social contract na pinirmahan. So within the first 100 days, yung sinabi natin na legislative bills na ating ipipila. Sana maipila lahat natin yan para uusad at hopefully it can be finally decided bago yung expiration ng ating term as congressman.
Yeah. We will go to yung mga points ninyo later. But do you think yung pagkakapanalo is talagang this is a message from the people of Baguio that they are not for the dynasty kind of leadership, na talagang hindi pwede yung ganong leadership dito sa Baguio?
Maliwanag. Clear na majority yung ating mga kababayan di City of Baguio, and I salute them for not allowing dynasty to start in our City of Baguio.
Nakita nila.
Nakita nila na talagang hindi naman tama yan. Ikalawa, importante rin ang talagang performance ng isang kandidato.
Right.
I do not think tayo ay binuto ng ganong karami ng ating mga botantes in the City of Baguio kung wala silang nakitang unang-una yung attitude ko, karakter ko, ang aking performance nung tayo ay nanilbihan. So, ito lahat played a very important role sa tingin ko. Kasi gaya ng sabi ko, hindi ko naman malabanan yung ating katunggali sa kadami ng mga posters, kadami ng campaign materials, kadami yung kanilang mga campaigners na nasasalubong namin on the campaign field nga talagang naka-uniforme sila. Aabot ng mga 12, 15, talagang iba't ibang grupo ang so talagang naninervyos ka na nakakasalubong sa kanila kasi ang dami nga nila yun nga yung talagang tingin ko talagang delikado tayo dito, ngunit yun nga ganun yung resulta.
What's the difference of you've been playing the field of politics for like there are parang may mga you reach the end ng parang there was this time na ganito yung technology, analog, to the point that you are here on this era na talagang social media is, let's just say, totally tied to winning the leadership position. Ano yung nakita mong pagkakaiba ng election noon at ngayon, at meron din bang parang changes on how the people vet kung sino yung mga candidates? Maliwanag yung pagkakaiba ng campaign noon at ngayon because of the effect of technology. Noon, kasapulan nga talagang kina-articulate mo to explain to the people yung inyong platform, mag-house to house ka na to reach the hands of each of the voters by all means. Ganon yung talagang major means of campaigning at that time. Yung pira-pira in the City of Baguio, talagang saludo ko ako sa mga ating minamahal na kababayan, kasi siguro kung mayroon man yung at noong time na yan, konting percentage lang, siguro mga 15% lang yung talagang nagbibinta ng kanilang boto, ngunit karamihan talagang they really value their right to suffrage by voting yung gusto nilang ibotong kandidato. Ngayon, yung pagkaiba ngayon, the importance of social media na especially yung mga kabataan, the younger voters, nakatutok sa social media yung mga yan That's why importante ang technology ngayon
na yun nga, they can know about your platforms, about who you are. Marami yung malalaman nila sa social media. Marami din yung talagang nakakasira sa inyo na fabricated malignment na sinasabi sa inyo na lumalabas sa social media. So, talagang medyo may pagkaiba. You have to weigh the effect of social media, the effect of yung mga technology, the effect yung mga character and values ng ating mga tao. Then, pag-aralan mo how to address itong mga issues na ito. Kasi, yun nga, problema, yung I am referring to the values of our voters.
Yeah.
Yung talagang pira lang, yung tinitingnan nila. How do you address that one? Yung talagang, kung hindi pira, kailangan pakanin mo ng gusto.
Yeah.
Magparty ka ng kainin nila. Ay talagang problema talagang mga yan. At you have to align it also kasi maliwanag sa election law na bawal naman yung ganun. Madidisqualify ka. Yung siguro merienda ay wala kong magawa diyan kasi kung minsan nagugutom naman yung tao kung may rallies sa different barangays, caucuses na magugutom yung tao at hindi sila magmerinda ay talagang kailangan absolute necessity yung merinda at mabuti na lang marami. There are many who volunteered na who will serve our audience ng merinda na kahit man lang hindi natin ni-request sila na ganun nila yan, ngunit ginagawa nila.
I think, one plus factor also yung parang appreciation yun sa mga voters of Baguio is that they really know how to use the social media in order to parang i-vet yung mga candidates and they know how to sift through the information. Kaya regardless kung ano naman yung binato sa inyo, nakalusot no. They know how to vet naman yung ano. Election is now over, so tapos na siya. And I had a podcast with your two of your daughters before. And this is one of the things that parang sabi nila is they're wondering how you do it. Because alam natin kung gaano kagrabe yung batuhan ng conforming noong election, but then after the election pa you're friends with them again and they cannot understand how does he do it. So can you share us kung paano you're so good at maybe compartmentalizing things na
well, alam mo ito sa akin well, alam ko yung gumawa nga ng gano'n, ngunit sa sinasabi ko sa mga kasama ko, ating mga anak, pabayaan mo at sila ang magkamali. Natamaan nga tayo sa kanilang ginawa, ngunit wag natin masyadong dibdibin yan at let's do what is right. Parang sila lang yung iyan ng iyan na tikamali. Bayamon ang mga subalitan ta importante kitan tayo ti at atidugpay nga aldaw.
How do you easily say bayamon?
It's a matter of tao tayo nga masaktan ka. Make it as a point. May isa nga nagrigat nga adalem how to do it. Talaga. That's the truth. Talagang nalaka nga sa ubon dito nga narigat nga ramidin. Kasi ko na talagang masapol nga practice di jay. Yati importante nga umunugan iti panamati kuma iti manakabalin because that's the teaching of our Creator. You know, di may isang appreciate on that point the late Father Kiloy nga medyo simobrata minurder di kapsat na identify da jay ng tira hanang yung palubos nga indarumda ko na da bayamon ta isot nagbasol da tayo saan nga medyo I do not totally agree with that konak. Yes, pakawanan tayo nga itibasol na itipubliko kumaakit rumbong kumasong bata na ihaan nga di pa nangibalos nga di tipubliko ti o masapong nga he should account for that because no kasjay kasano nga ulitin naman iti sa bali nga tao kasimat iso nga kasda ito'y ko nang di nang tiltira kanyak well di da pimano kanyak nga idikon ko na dapay kat nga umayda ko na well awang problema kanyak no pa di ti pangkitaan sino ti tao nga katungtungtong mo anya klase na nga tao anya prinsipyo na karamihan sa mga politisyan kung tingnan mo hindi paninira ito talagang di nga kabaulan sika kaya nangato ka uno dakkel ti influensyan nadekot dakon sika nakarkaro dapay kun kuton day tanga no nasamit ay ada di gay ngam kat isamit mo awanen umuno na dapay nga mangibad dakon sika adu ti tao nga kasjay ngam kasite ko na isuti bagbaga kadigi anak ko bayang nga isudat agbasol ang mainay na yun nagbasol pinaramid da hopefully as we move on panunot da nga nagkamalida dito kadakwada nga mang amamiris data na adong nga kapadasak na ipangyot ta di nang gurgura kanyak idi nga pinalpalabanan dakpay nga well ako nga imbalbalos mo nga idi dimting titimpo nga siyak mo ti alaan na nga abogado nakakunak kagurugura mo siyak apay nga alaan siyak nga abogado kunana mo piman di bali nalpas di jayon pang kita amot no kasano akmot nga talagang agserbikin sika kunano mo piman. Of course, I have the apprehension baka umaylaang manin nga mang kita ti mamayaan nga mang
manggulo man
gulo kanyak kunak ng nagsubli kanyak nga kastya so far they are good up to this time when uray pa'y finansista bak nang mat ni iso nakit adamit may parsyak na kanyak di legal fit at nagbayad mo't nga husto piman kunakay nasayat sakit piman gaya magupta kung anya nga sinubalitan di na may anak kanyak itata mga idolupay ko di taong moreno I do not deserve to be idolized by her.
So nga dito na di ay kapusta na saya dyan mulmulam so nga kaslangan
sumati apitin that's plain and simple that's really the principle nagmula ka tinasya at oray adasan da nga pirdiyan ituloy mo la takot talagang ag-apit ka mo itinasya.
I really admire that because well, in the field of politics na talaga parang kung ano-ano yung but then you really parang you check yourself so hard na ganun dapat and wow, that is really yung sabi nyo kanina talagang kailangan ng practice doon.
Yeah, talaga look dato ni anak ko nga Gladys Picasar. Of course, panagkadkadwan ito ni papang na, ti parents na. Anak, idinalpas nga ng text kanyak ni Gladys kunak nung Gladys. Patgakunay day kay panagagayamik ng runa iti naganak ka. Ako, antay ko, patyong kumat kunak santay ko mga palubusan nga ti politika kat dadauli na. Dahil nga panag gagayon tayo. Kung timang kayo iso na. Iso nga, I invited ni Manong Bernie ni Manang Glo as my special guest in Tono Lunes during our taking dagay kakadwa because inusar ni Gladys ni Papang nangag punang sakit inulbur ko isudang panakbanon datan na I am sure niya nga rod kat isot tinaray ti ko ta data ti ibungan na numaminsan ti politikang baamon kunak timang padigidya na masaktan ako ay bayam de gitadan ay bayam de biyang de data yak at maragsakan mat ni ko I hope they can come on one day.
Wow, that is so nice. Yeah, and congratulations by the way. And what's the plan on the we will pause for a while. Talagang dingar-digang ko na pa congressman. Once na tatawa. Busy na kayo, wala. Kaya buti na lang pumayag kayo na makasingit ako ng konti. So we're back and a while ago, nasabi nyo yung social contract ninyo. So yeah, my next question here is what's the plan upon going to the chamber and what are the proposed bill na you will be focusing say for yung sabi nyo 100 days?
Well, number one, na talagang feeling ourselves na within the first 100 days maipafile natin yung we have to rewrite or again amend yung city charter. Ang dami yung problematic at seryosong mali na dapat baguhin natin dyan.
Sorry to cut you short here, but parang may nasubmit na parang amendment, but then it was vetoed by, do you have any
yes, I know it. Ito yung dapat apat na major part ng city charter na dapat ilagay natin, baguhin natin sa pina-approve niya po Congressman. Actually, I had talk with Congressman few days ago. Tinan over na yung ginawa ng ngunit. Nakita ko naman yan sa territorial boundaries lang ng Baguio City. Sinabi ko, Congressman, mali talaga yan. Dapat yung ilagay natin dito yung technical description ng meets and bounds ng Baguio City pursuant to yung settlement na we were able to reach with Benguet, specifically Tuba Municipality for the settlement of the boundary dispute between Baguio and Tuba. Marami ang hindi nakakaalam na Baguio City, Tuba, I should say, is occupying 48 hectares na parte ng Baguio.
48 hectares.
48 hectares.
Wow.
Yung halos 3/4 of the municipal building within Baguio City. That's why.
Yeah.
Hindi naman magandang sitwasyon yan. Matagal na problema natin yan. Ngunit, ang hirap na masitil ito kasi yung ng Tuba in the provincial officials of Benguet, ayaw nilang aminin na naging fruit sila sa land area ng Baguio. Or in short, ayaw nilang magamit yung salitang swapping or exchange kasi that's an admission na naging fruit sila sa area ng Baguio. Ngunit sabi ko sa kanila, gusto at hindi ninyo, yun yung totoo. But anyway, to solve it, kasi yun pala yung problema ninyo, ito. So I came out with a solution na under the guise of relocating the city, land area of city of Baguio, when we will go to that area, ialisin na natin yan, ibigay namin sa inyo, Tuba. Ngunit, kunin namin sa Duntugan in Santo Tomas, Apugan para walang mababawasan sa land area ng Baguio. Alam mo yung land area ng Baguio? 57 million 476,691 square meters.
No.
Yon yung land area ng bagyo.
Italiano.
Meron naman yung approved na relocation survey that has complete technical description. Ito ang ilalagay natin sa section 3 ng ating city charter. So that once and for all, nasolve yan. Ikalawa, yung mali na ginawa naman ni Apo Congressman sa section 23 subparagraph 4 na nakalagay kasi diyan na yung approved ordinances ng city pa-forward natin sa sangguniang panglalawigan as provided under section 56 of the local government code. At kung basahin mo yung section 56, that applies to component cities and municipalities. Kasi yung component cities and municipalities, hindi po sila independent from the province. That's why, yung kanilang ordinances has to be approved by the provincial board. Hindi po ganun yung sitwasyon ng Baguio. Kasi Baguio City is a highly urbanized city, chartered city. Itong pinaka-importante, chartered city as of September 1, 1909.
To give an example,
which is independent from the province. Marami yung mga chartered cities na independent from the provinces. Entire the Philippines. Cebu, of course, kasi may province ng Cebu. Ngunit Cebu City is independent from the province of Cebu.
Ang component naman city. Ay
component city is Tabuk.
Tabuk, yeah.
That's why Tabuk is marami. I think Dagupan is still a component city. Yung Ordanita is a component city.
They're the ones who's gonna submit the ordinance.
Kailangan na i-forward mo sa provincial board. Ganun yung So, maalis talaga yan. Ito yung parte ng nung na-realize niya po Congressman Mac na mali yan, hiras an amendment, ngunit ito ang binito ni President Trump, President BBM. Pangatlo, na ito ang isang pinaka-importanting dapat madrisan natin na problema ng bagyo. This is particularly section 50 yung sa revised city charter na covering disposition of alienable and disposable public land. Kung tingnan mo yung sitwasyon ng Baguio, unang-una, Baguio City is town site reservation. So, yung records ng DENR, kung tingnan mo, kasi kung it's town site reservation, it's alienable and disposable public land can be titled only through town site sales, miscellaneous sales, and yung ginawa namin during our time, free patent. Those are the major three modes of titling lands in the city of Baguio. Except if you are extraordinary, exceptional individual na direct proclamation by the President or by Congress. Mahirap yan. Yung records ng DENR, even at this time, and I keep on telling this, meron tayong 1,080 hectares na alienable and disposable public land covered by town site sales application na ang tagal-tagal, mga 50 or even more than 50 years, 40 years na hindi pa titulado sa kanila. So, ano kaya ang problema sa town site sales na ito? Yung problema dito is sa town site sales application, mandatory po ang public bidding na ang aplikante sila mismo ang magbabayad pa ng publication fee para maibid yung kanilang application. ang dami ang mga applicants na ayaw nilang mabid yung kanilang application kasi meron pa yung takot exactly na baka mililitaw na ibang bibig, mouth bid siya, asan siya ngayon. Yun yung problema. Ngunit yung consequence very serious. Number one, ay talagang hindi masabi yung aplikante na sa kanya yan kasi wala siyang titulo. Hindi niya pwedeng isangla o malinis na ipamana mo sa mga anak mo. Ikalawa, lugi ang barangay at city. Bakit? Kasi hindi sila binabayaran yung real property taxes on the land. Kahit na 60 years na diyan sila, hindi sila nagbabayad ng buwis. Alam mo ba? Yung pinakamalaking source ng income ng barangay, real property taxes. So, because of the situation, talagang nalulugi ang barangay. Pareho din sa city. Now, solution, alisin natin yung TSA, palitan natin ng miscellaneous, direct sale sa mga actual occupants in or qualified applicants na walang public bidding. Na yung appraisal value na basis ng ibabayad ng mga aplikante. I'm referring to to make it clear, more than 200 square meters. Yung ibabayad nila, nakalagay din sa amendment ng revised city charter, parang hindi problema na naman yung pag-determine ng magkano ang bayaran ng isang aplikante. Yon. At wala tayong problema sa 200 square meters or less kasi libre yung residential free patent. They can apply for the titling under that mode of residential free patent. Now, so iyon yung solution. Na ito, nandiyan sa amendment na ginawa namin noon pa, biniton lang ni Nuy kasi galit na galit si Nuy sa akin noon. Yun yung problema kung sana. Ito ang sinunod ni Apo Congressman Go noong ginawa na yung amendment ng revised city charter. Solve sana yung problem. Ngunit hindi. Yun nga yung minintin niya. Kung basahin mo yung section 50 of the revised city charter, minintin parang niya ang town site sales application. Yun yung problema dyan na dapat madrisan yan.
Dapat nasolve sana yun if they have their...
Yes, correct. Sunod na dapat i-correct natin dyan. Siguro inadvertence or I do not know what actually happened na sa amendment na ginawa namin sa Old City Charter, nakalagay dyan na lahat ng ibabayad ng isang aplikante sa alienable and disposable public lands na more than 200 square meters punta sa city. Walang pupunta sa city sa national government. Inalis sa revised city charter yan.
Sa direkto national...
inalis. Wala na yan. So, lugi masyado ang city diyan. That's why we have to return that. Important yan. Imagine, yung 1,080 hectares na hindi pa titulado is equivalent to 10,800,000 square meters. Kahit na sabihin mo 300 pesos or 500 pesos per square meter yung ibabayad ng aplikante. Billions yan. Siguro, baka sapat na yan na gamitin natin to develop the public market na hindi natin ipaprivatize so ibibigay sa private developer. Yun eh. So, yun yung sunod. Next, the last. Yung regarding yung dyan, dapat ito Article 12, Section 55, alisin natin sa City Charter yan. Kung talagang ilagay natin dyan or it will be covered by another bill.
For the benefits of those who are listening, ano yung Article 12? Can you explain that?
Yung Article 12, Section 55, yung Camp Janhi Reservation. Yes. Kasi nakalagay dyan na halos pabor sa BCDA yung nakalagay dyan eh. Hindi kinonsider ang condition number 14, Resolution 362, series of 1994 na yung 13 barangays within Janji Reservation, it has to be removed from Janji Reservation, make them alienable and disposable para yung mga matagal na occupants of this land can apply for this land. Yon. Ikalawa, yung condition number 16 na klaro ang sinasabi na after the expiration of the contract of lease sa 247 hectares, yung lupang yan must be turned over to the city government na walang obligasyon ng city to pay the value of the improvement. Malaking bagay sa city yan. Problema, alam bakit maliwanag na pabor sa city yan, ngunit hindi united ng city officials to assert the right of the city under that condition. That's why ito yung dapat tutukan natin, and I hope na lahat kami na opisyalis, servants ng ating lungsod will be united on this point.
For the sake of
so that's the city charter. So marami. Ikalawa, yung PMA reservation, particularly covering part of Kias, Luacan, Ungasan Central, Luacan Central, Ungasan, and then Navy Base, Kampalin. Alam naman natin yan eh. Tagal-tagal na alam ng people of Baguio na itong reservation nito, hindi lahat ay nagamit for military purposes. Ang dami yung mga taong na occupying for a long period of time portions of this reservation. So, let us once and for all resolve this problem. How? Sundin natin, ipagpatuloy natin yung ginawa namin na ako ang chairman of the different line agencies na portion of this reservation na occupied by settlers for a long period of time shall be segregated from the reservation, converted to alienable and disposable, and then direct sale natin sa mga actual occupants in or qualified applicants.
How long is long period of time, sir?
Well, matagal na yun binoccupying those areas.
1900s.
Even some of these areas had been occupied before PMA had been proclaimed. So, in the 1900, kasi kagaya ng Ungasan, Luacan Central, may records na nakita namin na talagang long time occupied by certain claimants yan, long time ago. So, yun, yung ikalawa. Ikatlo, yung Forbes Park Parcel 3, specifically covering Gibraltar. Alam natin na hindi naman nagagamit as forest Forbes Park yung Gibraltar eh. Na-occupied by settlers again for a long period of time. I was able to convince the DNR to segregate this from Forbes Park Reservation. Inaprubahan ng DNR, may approve survey yan. I filed the bill during the 14th Congress. Hindi lang natapos before my term expired. Hindi na refile. I will refile that one to solve this problem. Kasi ang dami kaya, ang occupants diyan. Then next, na dapat ayusin natin, Upper Gibraltar again, Mines View, Poksusan, Happy Hollow, Luacan Apugan, Atok Trail, Kias. Alam mo,
marami.
Ang tagal na occupied by people, hindi nila pwedeng applyan kasi mining reservation under Proclamation 414 and Proclamation 572. Alam naman natin na walang minag yan eh. Noon pa wala. That's why, solution, gawin natin yung mapping, inventory of the occupants, segregate natin yung danger zone na hindi pwedeng lagyan ng bahay, forest, watershed, kung may kailangan ng city need, segregate natin. Yung safe areas gawin natin alienable and disposable and have it be awarded directly to the actual occupant and or qualified applicants.
Walang bidding.
Walang bidding. Yun. Ito, malalaking problema ito kung nagawa natin ito.
Right.
Next. Of course, yung presyo ng lana. I've been complaining about this one.
Oo nga po.
Presyo ng lana. Kasi lahat natin, halos alam natin na mapangkalaon yung diferensya na 10 pesos. Sobramot, nga ganansya, digiti mangyug dito bagyo. Yes, kaya tayo nga ganansya da piman, negosyo da tangam, ang kumamot nga kasjay. So we have to do what we can to address that one. And then that's why kailangan na we have to place the oil under the coverage of the price control law. So because when we have been complaining with DTI being the implementing agency of the price control law, sabi ng DTI, wala kaming magawa kasi oil is not within the coverage of the price control law. So, yun yung aspeto na tingnan natin. At the same time, it is a way that we break the monopoly of control of big oil companies in the Philippines. Parang we improve the competition. For sure, it can improve the price of oil in our country. And ito, malaking homework yan. And then next, of course, with that is, i-refile ko yung share ng host local government unit sa National Wealth Development. Is regarding yung mga National Wealth Development like kagaya ng mina, kagaya ng dam, and everything. May share ng host local government units diyan na dapat may bigay sa kanila.
That will be given directly to
yes,
them.
To them. Yun yung punto ng aking amendment. It should be given directly to them. And then of course, yung scholarship natin sa ating mga poor but deserving students. I have just proposed a budget to start with 20 million for this purpose. Kasi looking at where I started, the difficulty of life na dinaanan ko, education is the most valuable na ipamana natin sa ating mga anak. Dapat ito yung isang tutukan ang education ng ating mga anak. So, yung 20 million na inallocate ko dyan, hopefully, aprubahan nila yan so that we can start ruling yung scholarship program natin na yan. Matulungan natin yung ating mga anak kasali din yung mga sports development, yung alternative learning system na so talagang and then of course the Cordillera Autonomy.
That one was my next question actually. What do you plan for the proposed regional autonomy? You trying to
I will refile it. I will refile it. Anyway, I've been an advocate of Cordillera Autonomy ever since. That's why we have more or less the kasi I was the chairman of the regional technical drafting committee that drafted some of the versions of the Cordillera Autonomy. Ngunit ganun pa man, we still need the help of everybody. So I am seeing no one has the monopoly of knowledge. Kailangan natin na magtulungan dito. I have been going to different provinces talking on Cordillera Autonomy, explaining kasi bottom line, unang-una, and this will be my message on Tuesday, the kick-off of the Cordillera Day 38th year anniversary. Look, nakita naman natin yung advantage na nakuha natin when we have a separate region because of Section 15, Article 10 of the 1987 Constitution giving the Cordillera and Muslim Mindanao the opportunity to become autonomous region.
Yep.
And as a prelude or preparatory implementation of this section, President Aquino issued Executive Order 220 that actually established the Cordillera Administrative Region.
Yes.
So, with the establishment of this region, meron tayong sariling line agencies na mayroon silang budget na dito lang sa Cordillera magagastos yan, at it improve also the representation of the different local government units in the Cordilleras with the national line agencies and the national government. So, ang laki, ang advantages and benefits na nakuha natin with that one. But ito nga, kasi tatlo ang purposes ng EO 220. Number one, na nakalagay dyan, to manage the affairs of government in the region. One. Number two, to accelerate the socio-economic development of the units in the region. And number three, ito, to prepare the region into an autonomous status. Ito ang hindi natin nakamtan.
Until now.
So, sana we should take advantage of this provision by starting it from the basic na if we achieve this purpose under Section 15, Article 10 of the 1987 Constitution, we by all means craft an organic law that will ensure that if we become autonomous, it is an improvement of our present situation. Simply, it means that magsimula tayo sa ating present situation na walang mawawala sa benepisyo na right now we are enjoying.
Bagkus madadagdagan.
At madadagdagan. Yun lang, the basic. Kasi ang mga benepisyo na we are getting right now. Of course, the biggest one is the internal revenue allotment from the national government. Yung mga line agencies na nandito, na meron silang sariling budget. Yun yung mga example. Alam mo, 2017, that I was the chairman of the Regional Development Council as well as the Regional Peace and Order Council. I can more or less remember na yung budget ng entire line agencies, including yung internal revenue allotment na pumupunta sa CAR, pinakamababa comparing it with the other regions of the country. Ngunit, malaking bagay pa rin. Hindi ako magkamali. Yung internal revenue allotment is more or less 15.8 billion. Yung budget ng line agencies at that time, 28 billion. 28 billion. Yun. Now, yung internal revenue allotment ng local government units in the Cordilleras, talagang dependent tayo sa income na yan. Benguet, Benguet. I'm referring to 2017.
Okay.
Benguet has a total budget of, at that time, kulang ng 1.2 billion. Ngunit, yung source ng kanilang income, 900 plus million internal revenue allotment. Meaning to say, the Benguet was only able to produce less than 200 million from local sources. So kung alisin mo yung internal revenue allotment, patay yung linggo.
Was that possible na mayroong mga mining companies doon? And then,
that is a part, that is addressed as part of the, ito nga yung isang advantage kung mag-autonomiya tayo. Nakalagay dyan sa proposal na nagawa ko, lahat ng mga businesses, specifically the mining companies or national wealth development, dito sila magbayad ng kanilang taxes for the income they realize in operating business in the to correct the imbalance. Alam mo, yung members of the committee, constitutional committee formed by President Rodrigo at the time, Duterte, appreciative sila when I presented this one to them. So yun yung to really correct the injustice long time suffered by the Cordilleras. So yun, pinaka mababa yung local income niya. Apayao. Alam mo, Apayao, 2017. I can remember this one. Yung budget ng Apayao, 802 million. 2017 na. Alam mo, ang internal revenue allotment yan, 800 million. What does this mean? It means that Apayao produce only 2 million from local sources. Only Baguio City has a budget of 2.1 billion na yung ating internal revenue allotment was 670 million. Meaning to say, Baguio City had produced more or less 1.5 billion from local sources. Ito ang example ng benefits na nakukuha natin na kahit na mag-autonomiya tayo, hindi hihinto.
Dapat
madadagdagan. Yun.
Let me play a devil's advocate on this. Maraming nagsasabi, especially one lawyer said to me na the autonomy is not needed anymore. Especially if we have like representatives na marunong nang mag-lobby or that knows how to, and then how to be funds from other sources. And then others are kakaroon ng agam-agam kasi they do not like the ones na nagkaroon daw ng autonomy, yung nangyayari sa other provinces would leak in and mapantajabinggit the election-related violences na nangyayari. So, ano ang parang makikita nating solution doon?
Maliwanag. I think, with all due respect to those, I hope they can come in and participate in the discussion. Ito nga yung sinasabi natin. Okay, yung sinasabi nila. Hindi na kailangan yan kasi yung kailangan natin, yung magagaling na representative that can lobby. Alam mo yan, plus yan, importante yung autonomy kasi yung autonomy nakasit up na sa batas na automatic na ibibigay ng national government na hindi kailangan ilalabi ng isang representative. Okay. Kung example ito, yung sa share natin sa national revenue, nakaputin dyan, granting 3% of the total collection of the national government revenue the year immediately preceding the effectivity of the autonomy law. Automatic na yan hindi mo pwedeng, hindi kailangan na ilalabi. It is automatically appropriated. So, may dadagdag lang kung may magaling na representative kasi gaya ng sinabi ko, walang mawawala sa atin. We maintain the same. So, madadagdagan lang. May magaling na maglabi, maidagdag mo pa rin yan. Okay. Next, sa sagot na sinasabi nila, baka kung mag-autonomiya tayo, yung ginagawa sa ibang specifically Abra in part of Kalingana, it's the Mindanao of the Cordillera, sorry to say, with contaminate. Alam mo yan, even at this time, kung yun yung iniisip natin, it can still spread. Importante, mas maganda pa nga kung meron tayong autonomous government kasi mas empowered ang region to address this conflict na happening in, alam mo yan, as an example, we try to do something about, this is related, I am not downgrading or criticizing ang ating mga kapatid na from Kalinga practicing the tribal war. Nung tayo ang janitor ng city, nung may tribal war sa Kalinga, yung easy seeking duck victims, yung mga estudyante dito. Kasi hindi nila alam what's happening in Kalinga. Ulupisa din pala, pupunta sila dito. Then kill yung kasi pala sa kanila, yung napapakinggan natin, yung pinaka mataas yung pinag-aralan sa tribo is equivalent to 50 people. So, kung gusto mong mag-revenge, yung number one target yung mga educated.
And Baguio is the educational...
Yes. So, yun yung nila, talagang I do not think now. So, thinking how do we address that one? So, I really suggested for a summit to call Kalinga, Benguet, Baguio, na ihinto na natin yan.
Yeah.
Sabi ko sa taga Kalinga, alam mo, yung pinadala ng Kalinga, board member lang. I think it was General Aguana who was the regional regional director of the PNP at that time. Kasama ko, Easter School, where the conference was done. Kasi yung punto, we signed a covenant among all of us na ihinto natin yung tribal war na yan. Kung nagkasala, huwag gaanin sa tribal war, i-implement natin yung batas na lang yung magpusolve dyan. The army, the police should go after sino ang may kasalanan dyan. Huwag naman tribal war na yung biktima, yung inosenteng tao. Ayaw pipirma yung tiga-Kalinga. Ayaw pipirma ang tiga-Kalinga. So, I do not know. Bakit? Sabi ko sa kanila, kayo sana ang dapat unang makukonsinti dito kasi alam mo yung meaning ng kikiki? Kalinga kills Kalinga. I do not assume. Keep on hearing those words na kikiki, yung meaning pala ay Kalinga kills Kalinga. As far as Kalinga is concerned, wala, we did not succeed. So, we were able to succeed only kung ganon. Sige, sa iyo na lang yung tribal war. Pirmahan natin na peace zone ang Benguet and Baguio. That's the one that we were able to sign. I think it's part of the document existing in the regional office of the PNP with the city government.
So until now, that's the one that's holding something like a peace.
Of course.
Wala nang improvement. No?
Yes. It has improved a little. That's why that's an example of how an autonomous government can gather itong problematic situation among the tribes in the region and strike. Kasi kung may power ng more or less that can easily mandate also the PNP, the army to address this one, I'm sure. Of course, it cannot be done overnight, but if we are decisive and continuous yan, I'm sure it can improve.
And another one, I think I heard this from another podcast that you guessed it on, but then I want you to tell me your answer here, that there are some people na saying na ipapapati na dayta ta kahit na nga governor ti region. Can you just share again your answer?
I met that unfortunately kasi I do not know why even media we came out with the trainings of speakers in the information dissemination of Cordillera Autonomy. Ngunit, yung nangyayari kasi, I do not know kung bakit lahat ng mga sectors, yung gusto nilang pupunta dyan, so, I have no choice. Now, kasi yung assessment nila, diferensya kasi ang simple ng explanation niya, kahit na pareho yung pupuntahan, yung sinasabi niya, ngunit nagkaiba naman yung ginawa niyang pag-explain sa ginawa niya sa ibang lugar, pareho din. So, happy ang nakikinig at madaling maintindihan. Then,
so you became the face of it.
Yeah. And then, Binggit mismo, tiga Trinidad, nag-question dyan. I am doing, that's not an issue. Ngunit, to answer the question, lahat kami sana magpipirma na hindi kami tatakbo kung that's the ano. Ngunit, kahit na man lang, the reality is, tao sa region ang mamimiling who will be the regional governor. Kahit sabihin ko na interesado ako, kung ayaw ng tao, anong magawa mo? Si demokrasya naman yan eh.
Yes.
At ano, so that's why talagang that's a nonsense question na ano, you can tell anybody.
Yeah, I can say where it came now because you, like what you said, parang unintentionally you became the face of autonomy.
Yes,
of the claim for autonomy, and intentionally na parang sumusunod dun sa mga of course not to forget also Balwag and the others. But then parang sa generation na ngayon, parang kayo ang ano, and then people maybe try to ano kaya ang angle nito. And then that's why
Kalinga. Yung matapos akong nagsalitain, sige. Sabi ko, ipasa ninyo ang yung blank paper at pasagutin natin lahat. Honest to goodness, walang pressure dito. Overwhelmingly. Gusto nila yung ganung kung sana ganun ang lalabas sa provision ng autonomy law. Sabi nila, we will by all means not only vote but campaign for it. Sabi nila.
Okay.
So of course, I'm happy to hear it from them.
Parang nahihirapan tayo in the sense na I don't know kung ilang tries tayo to file the organic law on autonomy. What is, because sa tingin ba ninyo, is it time to amend the Constitution? Has it lived long enough for its usefulness, or the Constitution, 1987 Constitution now is good that we can still use it as a country?
There are a lot that we should improve in the 1987 Constitution. Ngunit, the reality is, ang hirap i-amend yung Constitution.
Parang nilak niya yung sarili na niya.
Kasi, ang daling sirahin yung kahit kagaanong ka-genuine, buti ang inyong intention, ang daling sirahin. Yung sinasabi niya, kagaya sa autonomy, yung unang autonomy law, yung sinasabi ng mga niga, sige, butuhan ninyo yan at magbubuwis yung inyong manok, baboy, inyong mga nuwang. Asan kukuha ng region ng income niya na magbabayad sa inyong mga guro, mga pulis, mga empleyado ng gobyerno. Asan kayo? So, nung pinakita ka, we address this one. Ganito, ganyan yung source ng in the first place, walang diminution of our existing benefit. Yung nationally paid employees will remain to be nationally paid. Alright. So, anong problema dyan? Nadagdagan pa ang ating income na ganito ang maidadagdag na pwedeng punta sa kasi gaya sa proposal natin, the old proposal ito, na subsidy punta tayo sa subsidy. 10 billion per year for the first 5 years. and then 5 billion per year for the next 5 years. Or in short, in 10 years, 75 billion.
Yeah.
Distributed as follows, okay? 20% goes to the autonomous government. 6% will be set aside as reserve. What is this reserve fund for? Para kung mag-component city ng Trinidad, Bontoc, and other capital towns or provinces, meron tayong pagkukunan na ibigay na kanilang share. Yun. And then, so that's 26 billion. Magkano ang naiwan? 74%. Now, 2% of the 74% goes to the component city of Tabuk.
Yeah.
Okay? Then, 23% of the 74% will be divided equally by the 6 provinces and the city of Baguio. In short, divided by 7 yan. Alright. And then, so that's 25%. So, what remains is 75%. Then, 35% will be divided equally by all the municipalities in the region.
Sure.
And then, the remaining 40% to complete the 100% will be divided equally by all the barangays in the region. So, yun. Anong nagsasabi na ito baka delikado tayo. Ito ay dagdag sa present na tinatanggap natin. Yun Oo.
What do you think if we are to amend yung constitution natin, going back there, or what type of government will work that will parang hand or take care of the autonomy of the Cordillera and then will take care of the rest of the country?
Well, ako, if we amend the constitution, parang sa tingin ko lang, personal opinion ko, we more or less maintain presidential form of government like what we have at present.
Why so?
Ngunit, let us inject some amendments. Let's go to the elected positions of government. Sa tingin ko, it's time to adapt yung two political party system.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the two political party system. Magulo ang multi-political party system. At i-adapt natin yung president style nila sa Amerika.
Yes.
And then i-enlarge natin. It will not only apply to the president but down to the lowest level na to political party system, yung vote for the president, automatically vote for the vice.
Yes.
Vote for the governor, for his vice.
Yeah.
Ganon. Para reason, ma-minimize natin yung meron kang vice mayor na nagdadasal mamatay ka para susunod.
Because waiting in line lang ang function niya.
Kukontra sa iyo parang kasi ang hirap ang talunin ng seleksyon kung so ganun yung
yung
nangyayari ngayon makikonspire sa mga MP, patayin ninyo yan parang totally makasalanan na ganito, di pa alam pala na yung vice mayor mo yung nakipag-conspire. So, yun. In short, sa tingin ko, we can maintain better teamwork and cooperation kung ganun yung i-adapt natin. And then, yung term tama naman yung I am in favor na we go back to the 4 years.
Oh yeah, that's your terms.
That will be yung term. Ngunit hindi masyado yung okay lang yung 6 terms, but I prefer going back to the 4 years term na subject to re-election ng isang term lang. That's for the president and vice president. Now, let's go to the Senate. in Congress.
Yeah.
I prefer unicameral Congress.
Unicameral.
Walang Senate, walang
Congress. Yeah.
minsanan na lang. Isang Congress. Reason para yung resources ng government. Kasi yung nagdi-distribute ng pera, mga senators and congressmen It will equally be divided to the different districts of the entire country na hindi kagaya ng present situation na yung senator, wala siyang district.
Yeah.
Kung gusto niyang magbigay dito, ngunit ilan yung boto dito, hindi makakatulong sa kanya sa eleksyon. That's why yung binibigyan ng pabor, yung rich voting areas. That's why yung lumalabas, overdevelop yung rich cities in provinces na malalaki yung boto, naniniglik yung countryside. Yan yung we have to correct that. So,
is it also high time to adopt the electoral college here?
Hindi, I do not agree with that. Tama na yung election natin na diretsahan lang. Ngunit, the unicameral Congress. Alternative, kasi baka mahirap naman yung sabihin nila walang Senate, but if we maintain 2 houses, senators should be elected by region. So that hindi kagaya ng present situation na asan-asan ibibigay yung kanilang pondo. Yung kanilang allocation should go to the respective region. So that all the regions of the country will equally share from the revenues of government. So yun lang. And now, then sa local alisin natin sa provision ng ating constitution yung terms ng elected officials except the president, the vice president, and Senate. Yung members of Congress, kung sakaling unicameral, and the other elected officials, alisin natin as part of the Constitution yan. Ilagay natin sa ordinary law. Parang it's easier to amend. See, unfortunately, yung term of elected officials nakalagay sa Constitution That's why, nakita natin yung defecto sa 3 years only in the Philippines na halos every election yung nangyayari. Sinisira tuloy ang politika, yung ating economic growth and development. Politika lang yung nasa nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Dapat ako, yung ko sa term ng lagay sa ordinary law na 5 years. Ngunit, it must be complemented by the law on recall. Nakalagay din dyan na, sa lugar na NPA yung binutuhan nilang, NPA means non-performing asset. NPA yung elected na official dyan. After 2 years, pwede silang i-recall. Ngunit sila lang ang mag-eleksyon, hindi all over the country, politika na naman. Sila lang. Bakit, ganun ng So,
kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, once that you have started, after 1.5 years, agpundo ka man for the next.
Yes, and then of course, yung sharing ng ng revenue. I think it's about time that yung iwanan natin sa national government and yung ma-distribute sa local government units 50-50%. Hindi kagaya ngayon na 60 sa national, 40 sa local. Marami yung sa justice system natin I have more or less a summary of those na proposal. That's why
I think we'll be having one episode on that one. But can we go back to Baguio? The 19 conditionalities to GMC. What are those, and were those honored? And then, what is your take on this? Connected to my next question, there's a lot of the increasing presence of the large developer in Baguio, and how can we protect yung mga local settlers natin from the parang displacement sometimes nangyayari?
In short, it will a little bit change the question. May agreement ba ng BCDA and city na talagang yung 19 conditionalities niyan ay dapat i-implement? Sagot, yes. Nasabi ko kanina, unfortunate lang na hindi united yung opisyalis ng Baguio to assert the rights of Baguio under the 19 conditionalities. But let me go back to my statement. This is considered a valid agreement. Why? Right. Let's go back to its background. In 1993, when the proposed development of Janhi was being made, series of big demonstration everybody had been happening in the city of Baguio. I've been the one facing these demonstrators, and that was the reason why we cracked the 19 conditionalities as the conditions for the development of Janhi. So the 19 conditionalities are embodied in Resolution 362, series of 1994. It was only after the passage of this Resolution 362 that pacified yung mga demonstrators, yung mga tao against development. So, after we had passed that Resolution 362 in 1994, binigay namin sa BCDA under the chairmanship of Mr. Lim, passed its own sister resolution approving in toto the 19 conditionalities. So that's the number one evidence that conclusively proved that there's already meeting of the minds between Baguio and BCDA as far as the 19 conditionalities is concerned. Second evidence na it's valid agreement. In fairness to BCDA, in-implement niya yan. The master development plan of the 247 hectares, sinunod nila yung 19 conditionalities. That's why, under this condition, the developer is only allowed to put up vertical structures on, I think, total of 7 or 9 hectares only. Out of 247, yung pwede mong paglagyan lang ng structure, total of 9 hectares. So because of the 19 conditionalities. Third, nagbabayad naman yung BCD to the city government of the 25% of the lease rental as share of the city government. Ito, yung importante na dapat malaman ng hindi pa nakakaalam, pwede bang payagan ng Commission ng Audit ang BCD na ibibigay sa city yung 25% of the lease rental kung walang legal basis? Hindi. Na maliwanag na i-disallow yung kuha yan. Ngunit hindi pwedeng i-disallow yung kuha because of condition number 1 of the 19 conditionalities. So, tatlo na ang dahilan. Fourth, condition number 14 na maalis yung 13 barangays from Janhi. In fairness to BCDA, in 1998, nag-release ng 2.8 million more or less budget to conduct the segregation survey parang maalis mga itong 13 barangays from Janhi. Unfortunately, yung nangyari dyan, hindi maintindihan yung mga kapatid natin sa Happy Hollow, particularly Luacan areas. They were going against it, nag-expire na yung contract period, si Saksig niya ang nag-implement, hindi na naubos yung 2.8 million na budget yan, hindi nagamit, so hindi natuloy. Now, so yun, fourth evidence, fifth evidence, during 2001, 2002, because of nangyaring yan, we hired Engineer Joe, the late Engineer Jose Fernandez, to conduct the relocation survey. Inaprubahan yung BCDA. Unfortunately, we was about to let the President sign the amended proclamation. May problema sa technical description na nakita nila na binalik sa DNR na iyon yung inaayos namin pumalit yung ibang administration, nag-iba na naman yung hangin. So, yun yung nangyari dyan. So, we have a lot of it. And then the last, kinaso ng si Arnel Casurma, yun yung gumulo na dyan, yung Arnel Casurma na yan. He sued the city government of questioning the authority of the city to collect taxes on a business in Janhe. Nung sinabi ng Supreme Court, ginamit niya ang 19 conditionalities. Plain and simple, sustaining the validity of the 19 conditionalities. Number 6, may opinion ng Office of Government Corporate Council na valid yung 19 conditionalities. That's why talagang obligado sana tayo to unite ourselves to assert the right of the city government and its people regarding the 19 conditionalities.
That was crafted during your
Yes. Ayun nga yung mahirap. Bakit? Kasi humina yan. Because there are certain local officials na hindi sumusuporta sa 19 conditionalities. Alam mo yan, sa katotohanan na gustong-gusto ng DCD kasi by all means, nakikita nila ayaw nilang i-implement a lot of like yung condition number 16, condition number 30, 14, ayaw nilang i-implement. Wala silang magamit na dahilan nung nag-upos. Wala tayong tingnan nyo, kayo rin ayaw ninyo So, they are using our own to kill our own selves. Yung nangyayari.
Public-private partnership na parang very common in our country, tama po ba? Is there a need for more safeguard para maprotektahan naman yung mga public assets ng government, or what we have, the laws that we have now is okay na?
Well, the law that we have at present is okay. The most important dito, tayo mismo who are entering into public partnership or public-private partnership, ang talagang obligated to ensure na yung terms and conditions that will protect our rights, our own people must be so importantly placed in the agreement. Kung hindi nilagay yan, plain and simple, we should not go into that PPP.
Marami dito sa Baguio, mga PPP.
Yes. Okay. We have a sort of PPP under the old model. Built less operate and transfer. The Baguio Intermall. The Maharlika.
Which was
already turned over to the city government. Yun. Masyadong matagal lang yung kontrata yung Maharlika.
How many years was that?
Tagal. No, that was during the 1970s na na-construct yan.
Awan pa yung
Awang kata. Now, Baguio Intermall, that was in 1993 na 1990s na nagawa yan. At this is about to be turned over to the city government.
Also naka-PPP din siya.
Itong dapat, that's why they're talking of the market. Meron tayong model na dapat sundan Because sa akin, yung importanting element ng PPP sa akin, it must be pro-people, pro-Baguio. Hindi lang pro-developer. If we make these three basic elements go.
I see.
Because gaya ng sa public market, we crafted the ordinance series of 1995 na sa tingin ko substantially it's pro-people. Bakit? And pro-Baguio. Because kahit na kung sakaling may developer na papasok, yung first and second floor na this is the important choice of development.
Uh-huh.
Kahit na gawin ng developer yan, it will remain as property of the city government. Hindi kukunin yung developer yan. It will be operated by the city na walang paki ang developer. And dito mo i-accommodate lahat yung mga, that's why it's pro people, doing business in the market. Na walang ma-displace. Meron pang sobra dyan na I think 180 or 380 stores.
I see.
Na yung measurement, kung di ako nagkamali, is 3 by 7 meters.
3 by 7 meters.
Oo. So, medyo malawak kaya. Na yung babayaran, yun siguro ma-revise. Under that ordinance is 5.75 centavos, 5 pesos and 75 centavos per square meter. Masyadong mababa yan. So siguro ma-revise yan. Kung sana yun yung, just to me an example of, sinasabi natin na pro people, pro Bagyo.
Public
and then it's only for a period of 30 years.
30 years.
After 30 years, lahat ng improvements will become property of the city na without any obligation to pay the value of the same. Unlike yung, I do not know, kung napapakinggan kung pinupropose nila 50 years yung length of pagkatapos yung 50 years kung kunin mo babayaran mo yung value of the improvements. Ano naman yan? So,
what if they say billion? Hindi talagang maobliga.
Talagang pinrito kasi yung sariling mantika.
Yeah. You've been in this position, leadership of the city, legislative, representative, and the executive office for like decades already. Were those times na meron kang mga say pre-opposed, but then it was opposed, and then yung mga parang I've told you moments mo. Do you have those moments?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yung parking.
Oh yeah.
Propose the parking. Tingnan mo sa former city auditorium, multi-level development na I think 4 floors underground na totally parking and then food court and then convention center and then hotel sa almost.
I see.
May position dyan. Milvin Jones. Milvin Jones. Hukayin mo ng list dyan, emitter. Mag-create ka ng 1 floor parking dito. But the surface will remain as
open space.
Football ground. Milvin Jones.
Yeah.
And little bit lower than the existing stage para magagamit din natin yan. And then lagyan natin yung surface sa artificial grass. Nakita namin sa Canada, South Korea, ginamit nila during the Olympic. Ganda. Easier to maintain. May proponent na Australian company makipag-partner sa city. Yun. And then yung GAMSA, yun yung pwedeng dagdagan mong
GAMSA, okay. Yeah.
Multi-level parking that will be overlooking the Milvin Jones. And then yung view deck, parang kung may event dyan, pwede rin people will stay.
Was not approved.
Matindi yung position at the time. But now, problema yung traffic.
Yep.
Problema yung traffic. So, yun yung And then, of course, extension ng City Hall.
Yeah, until now, wala.
Which was approved during our time, may budget na approved pa dyan. About 700 million budget. First piece of the project is 420 million. Hindi naman natuloy. Yan. Now, they are saying, okay, pwede yung pwede yung Milvin Jones. Ibalik natin ang proposal na yan. No? Pinagdebatihan natin yan sa many years back. And then, of course, yung Bliss Development. Okay, sinasabi niya dyan.
Bliss Development.
Ang dami yung development going on in the city of Baguio. Well, unang-una, private properties mga yan. Hindi mo pwedeng bawalan na gawin nilang development na gusto nilang gawin sa kanilang private properties. So long as it's not in violation of the zoning ordinance of the city and other related ordinances. So, solution diyan is the bliss development. We had finished the circumferential road Baguio side.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, hindi pa completed sa adjoining areas. Because I am sure kung nagawa natin yan, the development will go to them.
Yes.
That will ease out yung masyadong nakapokus sa Baguio to the surrounding areas.
Yep.
That will likewise improve the economy and the development of the adjoining municipalities.
Yes.
That's why yung umuupo sa I do not know. They're opposing their own benefit.
You have your I have told you so. How about yung parang do you have this parang you fought for this thing and then I did not expect that it will turn out that way. Let's fix that one. You have those moments.
Well, yung 19 conditionalities.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we put hard for that, and there are those na talagang going against it, but this time they are now with me. I don't like to mention him.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. So he agrees now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Last question, siguro. I cannot let you go without asking this one. As a lawyer, what is your opinion? I have been longing to ask this before. What is your opinion on the arrest of the former president? He was brought out of the country.
Well, alam mo yan, yung timing was not good. Ngunit, kung may lapses dyan, siguro kasi nag-withdraw tayo sa ICC. Hindi na tayo member. Ngunit, yung nangyari, ginamit yung ICC yung International Interpol. So, yun yung membro tayo dyan. Somewhat coordinated with the Philippine government. So, wala kang magawa dyan. And then, aggravated kasi by no less than the mouth of the former president na when he was in Congress. Arrest me right now. So that I can That's why by all means, I do not like to comment on it.
Yeah.
Yung siguro, yung pag-implement ng hindi, as I said, yung timing, hindi maganda yung timing. Ikalawa, kung may lapses sa how it was implemented, ngunit as far as the arrest na ginawa nila dito, wala tayong magawa. Membro ko sa Interpol, and as the Philippine government,
that's the backdoor that they use.
Yes. Hindi makahindi ng yung yan, Philippine government.
I see. Yeah. Well, anyway, I remember the first podcast that we had like 3 hours, but I cannot do that now. I know. But I hope we'll do again someday. Thank you so much for always granting my request. Thank you so much. Any parting words, last words?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk with a lot of our people. Well, as we going to start our work in Congress, I said this many times, and I'll say it again now. Kailangan ko ang inyong tulong. Open yung ating opisina. I do not have the monopoly of knowledge. Kung meron kayong alam na it needs legislative action or it can be solved through passage of legislation, you are free to see us any place, anywhere that you can see me, or go to our office and bring that matter so that by all means as early as possible, kung talagang iyon ay importante, I will assure you that we will do our part to address what we can regarding the same. So, again, to all people of Baguio, maraming salamat especially to our volunteers na talagang who sacrifice so much for us. We are praying that everybody of us will be healthy, continue to work together for our city of Baguio. God bless to each and everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.